First and foremost, before we get started, I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekah Kwadash, and double honors to those great millstone where I learned his truth, and also to those elect that are scattered abroad. I like to say, Shalom. Come back here today with another great and powerful lesson through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And the type of day lesson is woe unto him that striveth with his maker. So I like to say shalom to all our listeners and learners. Hope this will help you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So before we start today's lesson, have a quick news article here by MSN, Interesting Engineering. It said, China firm plans world first pregnancy humanoid robot using artificial womb. Here's some more. It said, Chinese tech firm is racing to deliver what could be the world's first gas station robot. Said the ideal from Kiowa Technology based in Guangzhou involves a humanoid design with an artificial womb embedded in its abdomen intended to carry a fetus through 10 months of gestation and deliver a baby, according to Chinese media outlet. So right here, we already seeing that these heathens are raging right now. They're imagining a vain thing. And also we know that this right here is going into what you call transhumanism, AI, robotics. And out about we already know that they constantly want to do away with the natural order thing of what? Of who? Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. But one thing about it, they're imagining a vain thing. And one thing about it, the Lord's getting ready to come back and set that righteous order back upon his earth. So this right here is a abomination. And one thing about it, the Lord said, be fruitful and multiply. He put together a man and a woman. It's not, he didn't, tell you to give your ingredients to this this hideous, this mischievous device and try to carry a child. So one thing about it, this earth is all out of course. Also, it's all out of order, upside down, the land of confusion. So this right here is pretty much is confusion. China firm plans world first pregnancy humanoid a robot using artificial womb. So, man, this is ridiculous. Constantly going against the natural order. And the Lord's getting ready to destroy a lot of people. This is a abomination. Let's get a little bit more. It says here, slated for debut by 2026, and expected to sell for under 100,000 yuans, around 13,900 US dollars. It says the robot aims to offer a pregnancy alternative for those who wish to avoid the burdens of human gestation. Said the announcement has triggered intense public discourse for ethical unease to hopeful possibility for the unfertile. So right here it's saying that you don't have to even worry about being pregnant. You just go there to some place and give up your ingredients, and like so-called the man also give up your ingredients, and they'll do the rest through this hideous device, a mischievous device that they have put into play. A wicked invention. And one thing about it, the Lord is going to destroy them. One thing about it, trying to be like what the Most High, that God complex. But we already know who had that God complex. It was Esau, even the modern day so-called white man. But it seems to be everything like this, like the MOTB, the C19. Now this is everything just is constantly just coming out of China. And one thing about the Lord said that Moab shall be his watch spot. So they got hell to pay also. So we seeing right now they're very proud. There's something a little piece I want to get out of this here. It's something I want to get said. It's a humanoid birth machine. So this is exactly what they're trying to do, is that you can give up your ingredients, your so-called DNA, your life force, well, just give up your things to this robot and it'll do the rest. Put it like that. And so basically, this is a humanoid surrogate pregnancy robot. That's exactly what this is. So so they're gonna do away with the surrogate or woman. So they were doing it like that at first. Now they getting ready to use AI. So this is gonna go into what transhumanism, massing man and machine together. AI, robotics, and also this is gonna be dealing with your what biometrics. So a lot of these things are coming into place. So we seeing how these things are going. They constantly want to do away with the human race. This man is imagining a vain thing, but the Lord said he will let until he be taken out the way. These heathens are raging. So man, this is just ridiculous. So when you look at this picture right here, we knowing that this is the end right here. We're living in the last day. You mean to tell me that you can take a robot, a humanoid robot, to be a surrogate? You know what I'm saying? Say, I don't feel like having this child. I'm gonna let this robot, this a machine, have my child for me. You know what I'm saying? Surrogate, what it says, humanoid surrogate pregnancy robot. You know what I'm saying? And one thing about we know that this is a abomination. It goes against, the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushua. So we seeing right now that we're living in the last day. We seeing right now all source of wickedness is coming forth. But the Lord's getting ready to come back and set this world right back sides up. This place is all upside down. This place is out of order. This is the land of confusion. But the Lord's getting ready to set up that righteous order very soon. So now let's go here and get a quick precept. I keep quoting, I might as well get it. It says here, Psalm chapter 2 and verse 1. It said, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? Let's read in NLT. He said, why are the nations so angry? So why do they waste their time with futile plans? So that's exactly what they're doing. They're wasting their time. They're trying to upset the natural order things. So basically, they're saying that they don't even need Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. They can be their own gods. Just like this wicked devil. I think his name was Noah Yahari, or what I think that's how I said his name. They gonna become gods, and what I'm saying, say they can become immortals. But one thing about it, they imagine a vain thing. And also they trying to be the next superpower. But the next superpower, what is coming is the kingdom of heaven that dwells right. It won't be no goddamn robots, in the kingdom of heaven. You know what I'm saying? The Lord, when he creates things, it is perfect. You know what I'm saying? And this right here, man, this is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? So we see that they constantly bringing forth these devices that they have imagined, but they're gonna be, taking, in these devices. They're gonna be constantly. They're gonna be destroyed. So be not deceived. And one thing about a lot of people are gonna, believe in this lie, gonna believe in these lying wonders, this technology, this AI, this transhumanism, this robotics. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it is, we're not ignorant of Satan's device. And this is one of the devices he's getting ready to use. But one thing about the Lord said, be fruitful and multiply, a man and a woman. So he's trying to take away the natural order thing. But one thing about it, the Lord, he has, the Lord has power over the clay. You know what I'm saying? The potter has power over the clay. The Lord is the potter. You are the clay. The Lord can shape it and mold it in the kind of way he want to. You know what I'm saying? No one is going to be able to escape the hands of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. It is what it is. So now, let's start today's video. And after the video, we'll start the lesson. And I hope that you will get edified.
We have some news right now. Chinese scientists are currently developing a robot that could carry a baby to term and give birth to it. Yes, this is real. According to Asian media outlets, this prototype robot that's being created would literally be attached to a hose in which it would retrieve nutrients. It would have an artificial womb in which the baby grew. The prototype is expected to be released as soon as next year and will cost about 100,000 yuan, which is about $13,000 US. Now, the company that's creating it is called Kaiwa Technology. Now, the company hasn't provided really much information over how the insemination process would work here, but we are really moving into the future if this is a real thing that actually is deployed. And now there are major ethical concerns and major ethical discussions going on online of whether or not this should even be done. So I want to hear it in the comments below. Let me know what you think. So comment below and let me know. Spread the word, and as always, follow along, stay up to date on all the news you need to know about. I'll have more.
China just created a robot that can get pregnant and give birth to a baby. And it's sparking global outrage. China has unveiled what they're calling the world's first pregnancy robot, a humanoid machine with a built-in artificial womb capable of carrying a baby from conception all the way to birth. This futuristic invention, developed by a robotics team in Guangzhou, is expected to launch its first prototype by 2026. And here's the shocking part. They claim it'll cost less than $14,000. The robot uses amniotic fluid chambers and nutrient tubes to simulate a real human womb. In theory, embryos could grow exactly like they do in a natural pregnancy, without a mother ever carrying the child. Supporters say this could free women from the physical toll of pregnancy and offer hope for people struggling with infertility. But critics are furious, calling it unnatural, cruel, and dangerous, warning it could erase the bond between mother and child. The project has already triggered over 100 million discussions on Chinese social media, with people split between seeing it as a scientific breakthrough or a dystopian nightmare. So here's the question. Is this the future of reproduction, or is humanity crossing a line it should never touch?
What in the sci-fi horror is this? China says by 2026, it will launch the first humanoid robot designed to get pregnant and carry a baby in an artificial womb. The cost, under 14 grand. Some people call it innovation, but others warn it's crossing a line. If machines start taking over pregnancy, what happens to the bond between mother and child? What happens to us as a species? This isn't just technology. It's life turned into a product. And the Bible warns us in Isaiah, chapter 45, 9, woe to those who quarrel with their maker. Does the clay say to the potter, what are you making? So let me ask you, would you trust a robot to carry the future of humanity?
So now let's start today's lesson. And we'll start here first in Isaiah. Let's get that one. Isaiah chapter 45. We're seeing right now that these heathens are constantly striving with their maker. And who is the top of these damn heathens that's constantly striving with their maker? That's Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of. And also we're seeing that Moab, is right behind him. And one thing about it, hey, man, the Lord's getting ready to return, man, to set this righteous order back up. This man thinking that he can do without a woman and a man conception. Hey, you don't need none of that. We can do it this way. They have a better way. So let's go here first Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 9. It said, woe. It said, woe means destruction. It said, woe unto him that striveth with his maker. It said, let the potsherd strive with the potsherds, said, of the earth. Shall the clay say to him that fashioned it, what makest thou? Said, all thy work he has no hands. So let's read this in the NLT to make it a little bit more clear, a little bit more edification. It said, what sorrows await those who argue with their creator? Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua said, does a clay pot argue with its maker? Does the clay dispute with the one who shapes it, saying, stop, you're doing it wrong? Does the pot exclaim, how clumsy can you be? So one thing about it, they're trying to really pretty much, they're saying that they are gods and they can do it better than Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. That, that's a very vain thing. You know what I'm saying? You're crazy if you can think you can go against the will of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. Also, the Lord said in Isaiah chapter 55, my thoughts are higher than your thoughts. You know what I'm saying? And one thing about it, you are the clay. Who have the power over the clay? You know what I'm saying? That is Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. The Lord can shape, form, create whatever he desires. You know what I'm saying? No one is going to upset the natural design of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. So let's go into this word strive or striveth. Let's go in here. Let's get a little bit more. So we're seeing right now that these heathens are constantly raging. They're constantly going against what the Lord has already put into place that was already perfect. You know what I'm saying? It's already was complete. You know what I'm saying? If it's not broken, don't fix it. So they're trying to fix something that is not broken. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, the Lord's natural order thing is going to stand. It says here, uh, H7378, it says here, the biblical online use said to strive, to contend, to strive. Said, let's see, let's drop down here a little bit. It said to make a complaint, to quarrel, said to contend against. So exactly what they're doing right now, striving against their maker. And who is that maker? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. The Lord created all heaven and earth and beyond. You know what I'm saying? And one thing about it, though, these heathen, the Lord already said they are nothing. They're counted less than nothing. You're making a machine. But the Lord got that, what's called spiritual power beyond your comprehension. You're just a mere man. You ain't nothing but dust or clay that the Lord can shape and do whatever he want to do with, and also disregard it. So this is what they're doing. They come making a complaint. They're constantly quarreling. You know what I'm saying? Going against the natural order, being an adversary. And the Lord already said the wisdom of this world is foolishness to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Let's see what it says in a strong definition. Let's see what I can pick out of here. Let's see. It says to defend, say adversary or the enemy. It says here complain, contend, debate. Said, let's see what else we can get here. So rebuke, strive. Man, just what they about. So you pretty much get the what's going on. They contending, quarreling with Yahweh Ba'ashem outside. No, that ain't right. This ain't right. One thing about the Lord, make everything perfect. But we seeing this right here. Let's read it in the NLT once again. It says here. It says the NLT, Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 9 in NLT said, what sorrow awaits those who argue with their creator? Said, does a clay pot argue with his maker? No, they don't give a damn. They can argue all day long. So does the clay dispute with the one who shapes it? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai saying, stop, you're doing it wrong. Does the pot exclaim, how clumsy can you be? So right now they thinking that they can do things better. How are you going to do things better when your ass was created? Does not make any sense. So now let's go here. Just like I say, who got power who got power over the potter? The potter is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So the Lord have power over the clay. The Lord can shape it and mold it as his will. So let's go here now to Isaiah. No, let's go here to Romans. Not meant to be a long lesson tonight. Let's go here. No. Let's go here to Psalm Salakia. Psalm, just through the Spirit as it go. Let's see. Psalm chapter 10 and verse 2. It said, the wicked in his pride doeth persecute the poor. Said, let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. So right now, let them be, caught up. Let them be destroyed in these devices that they have imagined, their plan, their mindset, their agenda. It's not going to work. Let's read in the NLT. It said the wicked arrogantly hunt down the poor. Who is the poor? The true believers of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, the elect. So let them be caught up in the evil they plan for others. So they're going to get caught up. You know what I'm saying? That's why it says in Psalm chapter 17, verse 13, disappoint them, cast them down, which is thy sword, which in fact is, we talking about Esau, Edom, but also these damn heathens too, Moab, the Lord going to cast their asses down also. So let's go here now, just a quick lesson through the Spirit, things that I'm seeing, through the Spirit. Let's go here to, let's go here to Romans, something I'm seeing in Romans here. Let's see, Romans chapter 1. Let's go here, Romans chapter 1. Let's scroll down to verse 30. Something I want to get out of here. Then we'll get one more and close out. Romans chapter 30. Let's get this right here. Something I want to bring out in this here. It says, Romans chapter 1 and verse 30 said, backbiters, haters of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, despiteful, proud, boaster, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents. So the point I want to make was inventors of evil things. So that, they are inventors of evil things. So that what you call that surrogate, that humanoid surrogate robot, you know what I'm saying, for pregnancy, to bring it for attention. That is a inventors of evil things, so right now the Lord is getting ready to destroy that, so one thing about it, that's going against the natural order, that's going against the Lord will. Let's drop down to verse 32. It says, Romans chapter 1 and verse 32. Romans chapter 1 and verse 32 said, who knowing the judgment of Yahweh Ba'ashim Abishai said that they which commit such things are worthy of death, said not only do the same, but have pleasures in them, said that do them. So right here, the Lord's getting ready to bring forth that judgment. The one that, have pleasure in bringing forth these evil inventions, these devices, this deceptions, these lies, a lot of people are going to believe that lie and they will be totally destroyed. Let's read in NLT, said, they know God's justice requires that those who do these things deserve to die. See, yet they do them anyway. Said worse yet, they encourage others to do them too. So right here, the Lord, he's getting ready to repay. So this right here, we know they are inventors of evil things. This these robots, that's an inventor of evil things. The humanoid surrogate robot, that's evil right there. That's another thing. These also these sex robots, these different things like the inventors of, evil things. This, that's where we coming at, so trying to upset the natural balance, bringing forth all sorts of confusion. This is, man, this is ridiculous. Let's go here back now. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 29. Isaiah chapter 29 and verse, Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 20. No, Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 16. Let's get this right quick. Because everything's all upside down, but the Lord is going to set things right back in order. See here. It says, surely you're turning up things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, said he made me not, or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, say he has not no understanding. So that's exactly what they're saying. They're trying to say that the Yahweh Ba'ashim Abishai, is ignorant. He's you don't know what the hell he's doing. But one thing about it, you don't have power over the clay. Let's read this in the NLT, Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 16. It said, how foolish can you be? Say he is the potter, Yahweh Ba'ashim Abishai, and he is certainly greater than you. Said the clay. Let's start over at the top again. So like Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 16 said, how foolish can you be? Question mark. Said he is the potter. So who is the potter? Yahweh Ba'ashim Abishai, and he is certainly greater than you. So he greater than what? His own creation. The Lord is greater than that. He said the clay. So you just clay. It spicks of dust between his fingernails. Said should the created things, remember that the created thing say the one who made it, see, he didn't make me. Does a jar ever say the potter who made me stupid? Made is stupid. So, so we see it right now that these imagine a vain thing. They're really trying to say that the Lord don't know what he's talking about or know what he's doing. They think they can do it better. And the Lord already said, I think it's Isaiah chapter 40 and verse 17. We probably get that. They are nothing and counted less than nothing. Let's get that right quick. This talking about that clay that the Lord created. Let's get this right quick. And we get one more and we close out. Just random scriptures I'm coming through the spirit. Isaiah chapter 40 and verse 17. This is what the Lord said about the clay right here. Let's go here. Let's go back right here. It says here, all nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing and vanity. So that's what the Lord's telling you right there. You're nothing to him. Try to say that, they're, man, it just, I don't know, man, what, a lot of people been thinking, but the Lord has built him up into that pride. So that's where we at right now. That's another one I would get in Romans chapter 1. Let's get this one right quick. You know what I'm saying? The power, who have the power over the clay? This just came to me, Romans chapter 9. Let's go to Romans chapter 9. I think it's around verse 30, if I'm not mistaken. Romans chapter 9 and verse 30. Let's get to it, and then we'll get one more and we'll close out. And we're seeing right now that this man is coming up with all different things, constantly trying to do away with the Lord's creation and to make him a new abomination, not creation, abomination to me. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, the Lord, is control of all things. The Lord is the creator. You know what I'm saying? The king of the universe. He's getting ready to return and set up that righteous order once again. Let's see here, Romans chapter 9. No, I don't think that's it. Let's see, Romans chapter 9. Let's see, that's what it said. No, that's not it. Let's see. It's something I wanted to get out of Romans chapter 9, and I don't think, let's see. One moment. I might have been looking at something else. Is it Romans chapter 9? What is this here? It's something else. This ain't. It's going in. This Isaiah. This is all mixed up here. Let's go back here. There's something. I don't know. The blue letter is messing up tonight. That ain't even the right correct verses. Let me see. This Romans chapter 9, but it's saying the wrong thing here. It's mixed all up. You know what I'm saying? This is the devil here. Let's go. No, this is it. This is it. Okay, let's go back now. Let's see. Because it was telling me the wrong thing at first. See what now? Let's go back here now. One moment. Let's see here. No, it's Romans chapter 9 and verse 20, I think. It says here, it said, nay, but old man, so who art thou that repliest against God? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? Verse 21 said, so has not the potter power over the clay? That's talking about the what? Yahweh Ba'ashim Abishai, the Most High, power over the clay. Said the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor. So right here, it's just showing you how the Lord, he created things. He had one righteous vessel and he had one vessel was of dishonor, which in fact is Esau, Edom. Is going to be, he's the wrath fitted for destruction. That's all I want to get out of this. Now, it's right here. It said the potter says has not the potter has power over the clay. You know what I'm saying? So the Lord got the power over the clay. He created it and he can form it and fashion it the way he wants to. It's just the natural order. The Lord said, be fruitful and multiply. So one thing about a man, he lay down with a woman and bring forth, after 9 months, they bring forth that life. You know what I'm saying? So, another, children, put it like that. So they're trying to upset these things. You don't need none of that. You can just bring it through this mischievous device. You know what I'm saying? This something that is very abomination in the Lord's eyes. So now let's go to our last and final script. I didn't talk enough. Let's go here to Proverbs chapter 21. We close out here in Proverbs chapter 21. Proverbs chapter 21, and we'll close out here in verse 30. Proverbs chapter 21. Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 30. We'll close out here. So we're seeing right now that they bring forth all sorts of things, and they thinking that, they trying to, be like the Most High, but they imagine a vain thing. They are not no God. They are mere man. It says here, Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 30 said, there is no wisdom, nor understanding, nor counsel against the Lord. Let's read it in the NLT. It said, no human or the clay, no human wisdom or understanding or plan can stand against the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. So one thing about it, no matter what they come up with, you know what I'm saying, it's no understanding. They can't go against the Lord creation, can't go against what the Lord has already put into place. They imagine a vain thing and they're going to be totally destroyed. So we constantly seeing all these different wicked, evil inventions coming forth. But one thing about it, we already know that the Lord is going to destroy all of this wickedness, very soon. So we're seeing right now that, it's not going to stand against Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. So right here, we're seeing that this man is constantly bringing all sorts of wickedness forth. But the Lord said in Matthew chapter 24, verses, I think it's 21 through 22, if I'm not mistaken, 22 through 23, it said, for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. But we're seeing right now, this man is trying to replace the Lord creation with his own creation, but he's imagined a vain thing and he will be totally destroyed. So the title of the day lesson, once again, is Woe unto him that striveth with his maker. So I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahushua, Ba'ashim, Rekah Kwadash. I like to say, Shalom, Shalom.